In the violent poetry of the prize ring, few tales resonate like that of Naoya Inoue, the undefeated monster whose fists speak a dialect of devastation fluent in every nation and weight class he enters. Long before most athletes even glimpse the elite stage, Inoue was already orchestrating symphonies of shock and awe, each performance conducted with surgical precision and an almost scholarly appreciation for pain. 30 professional bouts, 30 triumphs, yet raw statistics only hint at the magnitude of his legend. What truly frames his mystique is the way he meets adversity head-on, turns peril into possibility, then molds that possibility into monumental, history-defining victories. To watch him is to witness the tension between fragility and ferocity, the split second when a man's chin flirts with ruin, only for instinct, intellect, and iron discipline to fuse and transform danger into dominance. It is an alchemy few, fighter's master. Inoue seems born to it, and nothing showcases that alchemy better than 3 crucibles, his confrontations with Ramon Cardinus, Ryoichi Taguchi, and Luis Ner. These battles deliver a portrait of a champion who does more than win. He redefines resilience. Step inside the ropes, feel the crowd's collective inhale, and let the drama unfold. When Inoue met Ramon Cardinus, the crowd inside Tokyo's storied arena buzzed with that electric cocktail of anticipation and unease. Cardinus, arriving with 26 wins in 27 fights, was no paper tiger. He entered trim, eyes bright, shoulders loose, exuding the subtle confidence of a man convinced he might just rewrite his destiny. Round 1 unfolded like a cerebral chess match on fast forward. Cardinus deployed sharp jabs to establish territory and to test whether the monster's aura hid any real vulnerabilities. Inoue, by contrast, appeared unhurried, almost studious, as if cataloging every twitch of Cardinus's lead hand, every feint, every exhale. His shoulders hardly lifted when absorbing the crowd's roars. The real activity, invisible to most, flickered behind his calm gaze as he recorded timing data for later rounds. This analytical patience is one of his deadliest weapons. He lets opponents taste early optimism before yanking it away with brutal suddenness. Yet near the end of that opener, Cardinus pierced the guard with a jolting 1-2, drawing a surprised gasp from ringside journalists. For a heartbeat, it felt as though a new storyline was germinating, one where the underdog recasts himself as a giant slayer. That ripple of possibility kept the arena humming between bells, even as Inoue's corner merely nodded, unfazed, as though everything remained precisely on schedule. In round 2, Inoue's internal metronome ticked faster. Footwork that had seemed casual now sliced tighter angles, half-steps that placed him just outside Cardinus's counters, yet close enough that his own right hand landed with increasing authority. A crimson thread snaked from Cardinus's nose, evidence that the monster had located his range. Yet the Mexican fired back with spirited hooks, hammering at ribs and temple whenever small openings appeared. One burst snapped Inoue's head and earned Cardinus fleeting control of ring geography. The crowd rose, sensing fragility in the air. But fragility is an illusion Inoue weaponizes. In round 3, he shed the veneer of slow starter and began layering assaults. Jab upstairs, right to the midsection, left hook over a dipping shoulder. Each combination felt like a code sequence unlocking Cardinus's defenses. Mid-round, a subtle shoulder roll left the Mexican's glove swiping empty space. Inoue answered with a counter so precise it looked rehearsed. Suddenly, momentum felt irreversible. By round 4, the tactical rope tightened, missed jabs invited crashing counters, and retreating steps were punished by rib-crunching hooks. Cardinus's breaths turned ragged, yet he remained dangerously proud, hurling ambush flurries even as his legs betrayed him. The monster, reading him like an open textbook, ramped up the tempo mercilessly until the 6th, when a multi-punch fusillade pinned Cardinus against the ropes. Cameras flashed, sweat and resolve sprayed, survival instincts warred with exhaustion. Still, the underdog refused to collapse. Round 7 delivered the coup de grace. An arrow straight right detonated on Cardinus's jaw, spilling him to the canvas amid a boom of synchronized voices. Gravity must have felt heavier than ever down there, yet heart hauled him upright. He beat the count and traded until the bell, but the eighth belonged to inevitability. Inoue marched forward like a metronomic executioner, ripping the body until reaction time slowed to a crawl, then vaulting upstairs with a final volley that forced the referee's compassionate intervention. Victory belonged to the monster, but the night's deeper takeaway was transformation. Cardinus's stout resistance had coaxed another layer of menace from Inoue's repertoire, proving that pain is his preferred teacher. To understand how such composure was forged, revisit Inoue's astonishing fourth professional outing. A collision with domestic champion Ryoichi Taguchi that defied conventional career pacing. Most young pros swim in shallows, filling resumes with easy prey. Inoue dove headfirst into shark-infested waters. Taguchi, already a hardened campaigner, tested him in ways gym sparring never could. From the opening bell, Taguchi stamped forward, behind heavy overhand rights daring the rookie to trade. Inoue's guard shook under the early barrage, the thump of leather echoing in a venue divided between alarmed admirers and ecstatic challengers hoping to witness an upset. A looping hook clipped the youngster's temple, tilting his equilibrium. Yet instead of shelling up, he responded by cutting angles and investing viciously in bodywork. Every shovel hook to Taguchi's liver carried a dual message. I acknowledge your power and I will repay it with interest. Slowly, Taguchi's breathing shortened, but he was no glass cannon. His chin, rumored to be titanium, delivered proof. Eating flush crosses, wobbled yet unbroken. For Inoue, this was priceless education. The realization that some foes do not bend easily, that victory sometimes demands the long road. By round 6, the familial intellect in Inoue's corner, his father and lifelong trainer, adjusted strategy. They urged amplified output, leveraging youthful stamina to drown the veteran. Inoue obliged, tripling the jab, sliding in behind it, digging torso-twisting hooks, then pirouetting out of range before the return fire. Taguchi's counter tries grew desperate. Each miss carved more fatigue. Yet he refused to surrender. Late in the fight, he landed a thunderous right that staggered Inoue, momentarily silencing the drum of dominance. Blood surged in spectators' ears. Was this the crack in the monster's mask? The response was emphatic. A savage rally of combinations to trunk line and jaw, executed with technical spite that belied Inoue's age. When the final bell chimed, both men were drenched in mutual respect, adrenaline, and a spray of shared history. Judges delivered a unanimous verdict for Inoue, scores of 98-92, 98-93, and 97-94, but Taguchi's doggedness earned everlasting gratitude from the new star. Crucially, Taguchi left the ring as the rare man never to taste the canvas against Inoue, a testament to chin and willpower that elevated, rather than tarnished, the legend of both warriors. If Taguchi revealed how Inoue handles attritional warfare, Luis Ner exposed how the monster endures sudden crises. Their showdown, Inoue's 27th bout, promised fireworks even before the opening bell. Ner's 35-1 record and fearsome knockout reputation traveled to Tokyo with the swagger of a man convinced he could silence an entire nation. The first minute validated every pre-fight dread of Inoue loyalists. A lunging left from Ner smashed, flush against the champion's chin, buckling knees and depositing him on the canvas, the first knockdown Inoue had suffered on home soil. Gasps ricocheted across the arena. Phones flew upward to capture history's pivot. Some fans clasped, hands in silent prayer. Yet among the chaos, Inoue's eyes remained eerily lucid. Rising by the count of 4, he executed survival with textbook mastery. Tied Ner up, circled away, absorbed follow-up volleys on forearms, and flicked nuisance jabs to disrupt rhythm. He conceded the round while stealing Ner's adrenaline. Crisis diffused, lesson delivered that poise outranks panic. Round 2 showcased remarkable equilibrium. Still clearing fog, Inoue nonetheless met center ring, refusing the retreat narrative. He countered selectively, each landed punch a psychological pry bar undermining Ner's confidence. By the end of the stanza, the Mexican's volume dwindled, forced into thought rather than frenzy. Round 3 flipped momentum entirely. Inoue's footwork, that trademark glide and pounce, trapped Neri into corners where compact hooks found ribs and laser jabs split guard. Every exhale from Neri now accompanied doubt. Inoue, once prey, had resumed predator status. Round 4 amplified the beatdown. Slip counter sequences left Neri swinging at specters, gassed and growing ragged. Inoue's precision, never wasteful, began to carve visible dents in the Mexican's armor. Crowd roars mutated from anxious encouragement into exultant roars of inevitability. Round 5 sealed the emotional swing. A perfectly timed counter-right dropped Neri in a heap. He clambered upright, but the fear of more lingered in his eyes. That fear was realized early in the 6th when Inoue unleashed a split-second double right. Same hand, 2 destinations. Temple, then chin. Lights out. The referee's wave signified not just a stoppage, but a resurrection story complete. Inoue had been floored, but he rose to author a finish more dramatic than the initial scare. For fans and historians, it underscored a vital truth. Greatness isn't absence of vulnerability, it's mastery over it. Across these 3 sagas, patterns emerge like constellations. In each instance, Inoue's seeming weaknesses become catalysts for greater dominance. Against Cardinus, initial equilibrium gave way to escalating tempo. Against Taguchi, youthful audacity matured through prolonged trial. Against Neri, a knockdown metamorphosed into a crescendo of retribution. Under pressure, he reveals improvisational genius, turning data gathered in milliseconds into adjustments that dismantle game plans. He is as much scholar as savage, each bout a thesis on adaptability. Yet intangible elements weave through the narrative too, the pride of representing Japan on global stages, the filial bond with his training family, and the quiet rage unleashed whenever an opponent courts disrespect. Such ingredients combine into a fighter who breaks forecasts as routinely as he breaks ribs. Today, the aura surrounding Naoya Inoue feels almost mythic. Journalists compare him to samurai legends, opponents speak of his breaking rhythm like a hypnotic spell, and fans treat his fight nights as communal pilgrimages. What remains unknown is the ceiling of this phenomenon. Can a future challenger exploit the fleeting lapses Taguchi or Neri momentarily glimpsed? Or will Inoue continue refining his already formidable arsenal into something bordering on flawless? In gyms across 5 continents, hungry contenders shadowbox to imaginary rhythms of taking down the monster. Each hopes to find the punch Cardinus landed, the right Taguchi landed, or the left Neri landed, except they trust they will land the follow-up that finishes the job. Yet history cautions them. Landing the shot is not enough. You must also endure the relentless storm that inevitably follows. Until that day arrives, every bell that echoes for Naoya Inoue carries a familiar tension. Fans wonder not whether he will add another victory, but what new shade of resilience he will unveil while doing it. He has shown he can outthink strategists, outlast brutes, and outgun punchers. He has fought through bloodied noses, swaying legs, and the heavy burden of expectation, transforming each into a stepping stone toward legend. Inoue stands as living proof that in boxing, a realm notorious for unveiling a person's deepest truth, there exists a rare breed who thrives within the furnace. Each challenge, instead of dimming his flame, feeds it. And if his past is prelude, the future promises further masterclasses in how art and violence can coexist in one disciplined soul. The only real mystery left is which brave dreamer will risk everything to learn firsthand what the world has already come to accept. When the monster is pushed to the brink, he does not break. He evolves, and evolution in its rawest form is unstoppable.